Are you there in 28 final ICMAI? Okay. So I need to share the link in that one or not? Hello, just typing you madam. It's working fine now. Okay, okay, okay. Okay, okay. Thank you so much. Okay, we will start, otherwise it will be late. I don't know whether someone will be joining. I'll just check if someone joins. I'll just admit in the teams. So we will start with yesterday's, we have discussed. We will see few repeated questions. So this question has been asked in December 2024. The first one we will discuss section, that is question number 2, which is state with reason whether the following supplies are mixed or composite, and when goods are packed and transferred with insurance. So when goods are packed and transferred with insurance, we need to mention whether that going to be a mixed supply or composite supply. So we know it is a composite only, because uh, the packing and the transport and the insurance will arise when we move the goods from delivery. So here, when goods are packed and transported with insurance, the supply of goods, packing materials, transport and insurance is a composite supply. So why we call it as a composite supply? Because it consists of two or more supplies that are naturally bundled and supplied together in the ordinary course of business, and where one of them is a principal supply, the packing and insurance are ancillary to the supply of goods and are naturally bundled with the main supply. So the supply is a principal supply and we call it as a composite supply. So we have already seen about the composite supplies also, which is section 2 subsection 30. It has been defined, the composite supply definition is there. And why we call it as this, the elements in a composite supply are dependent on the principal supply. So hence this we are concluding that when goods are packed and transferred with insurance, it is a composite supply. Same way, Mr. Neeraj booked a Rajdhani train ticket which includes a meal. So that also it's a composite supply only, because where the products cannot be sold separately, we call it as a composite supply. It is a bundle of supplies. The question is very simple only, but sometimes we need to explain more. The explanation means we have to put that section also here, under which section this has been defined. So this question is from December 2024. And one more also, there is we have MCQ type of questions. 15 questions are there, 2 marks each. If you see this particular question, Mrs. P. Associates of Chennai received certain consultancy services from DINC of USA. Both are not a related person. The services received is without any consideration. Does the same classify as supply? So this under which section we have seen this consideration related? It is activities to be treated as supply even if made without consideration, which is schedule 1. So in that, which clause it is? D, that is importation of services. So what is importation of services? Import of services by a person from a related person or from his establishments located outside India without consideration in the course or furtherance of business. So there are 4 important points here. Importation of services. First one, there should not be a related person. Second one, establishment located outside India. And third one, without consideration. And the last one is, it should be, the service should be for the in the course or furtherance of business. So in our case, Mr. P. Associates of Chennai, he importing services from USA and they are not a related person. So both of these conditions are satisfied here, and the third one is, it is without consideration and in the course or furtherance of business. So it is being import of services in the course of business. This it should be treated as a supply. this particular question also asked, if you see this, this is from our institute material, exactly the same question. So, Sanjay Kumar, a resident of Noida, an unregistered person working in a private firm, went to Himachal Pradesh for a family vacation via Delhi, Chandigarh, Himachal Pradesh in his own car. After entering Chandigarh, his car broke down due to some technical issue. He called On Roads, an emergency roadside car assistance company registered under GST in Delhi to repair the car. The car was repaired by the staff of On Roads. The On Roads does not have policy to maintain record of the addresses of the persons taking the car assistance service. The value of supply 50,000, labor charges 40,000 and the spares are for 10,000. The bill was supposed to be generated online through the server. Due to some technical issue, it was not so generated. So determine the place of supply. So everywhere we have seen already like the default provision also, and this is under section 12 subsection 2, because this doesn't get covered between the subsection 3 to 14, and here the default provision only, that is like a residual clause, and the number 2 is where the addresses exist, address not exist. Here they have clearly mentioned On Roads does not have policy to maintain a record of the addresses of the person. So here the address is not mentioned. If address is not there, then the place of supply will be location of the location of the supplier. So location of the supplier, where here it is GST, the registered under GST in Delhi, the roadside car assistance company registered under GST in Delhi. So the place of supply is Delhi. The service provider, we should see the service provider. It is a emergency roadside car assistance company and it is registered under GST in Delhi, and the place of supply is Delhi. So in June 24 also there are few questions. Mrs. QRT Limited made certain gifts to its employees as Mr. A 50,000, C 47,000 and Z 57,000. Which of these gifts liable to GST? So here the gifts cost where it is more than 57,000, that is 50,000. You can see this schedule also. Activities to be treated as supply even if made without consideration. There in the second point we have between related persons or between distinct persons, made in the course or furtherance of business. Gifts not exceeding 50,000 in value in a financial year by an employer to an employee, that shall not be treated as supply of goods or services or both. So if it is 57,000, it will not be treated as a gift. So it will be liable to GST. So again there are multiple, the last 2024 June and December I can see many questions asked for the composite and mixed supply. Here in this particular case for B, that B question, supply of external storage battery with UPS constitutes a mixed supply. Discuss the validity of the above statement with the help of key advance ruling if any. So here they have asked supply of external storage battery with UPS constitutes as mixed supply. So we have to justify whether it is going to be considered as a mixed supply or it is a composite supply. So here we have a one case law regarding this UPS and the battery. It is between Switching Avo Electro Power Limited, West Bengal, the appellant authority for advance ruling, that we shortly you can see AAAR, that is appellant authority for advance ruling. So they are discussing about this case. So when the storage battery or electric accumulator is supplied separately with the static converter, that is UPS, it would be considered as a mixed supply or not naturally bundled supply. So they have finally declared it is a mixed supply and not a composite supply. So the company is they have raised this point, that is UPS cannot function without battery, as the same is an integral part of UPS and it is naturally bundled and supplied in conjunction with each other. So their point is we can't supply the battery, supply the UPS without battery. Therefore, the supply of static converter along with the external battery, it should be treated as a composite and not a mixed supply. So they have kept their point like it should be treated as a composite because we can't sell UPS without the battery. So the court should not give the judgment like it should not be a mixed supply, not a mixed supply. Here finally the appellant authority, what the conclusion here is that two items are naturally bundled, then it should be treated as a composite supply. That is, UPS is supplied with built-in batteries, then that the supply of battery is inseparable. So it should not be separate UPS, separate battery. They are saying if it is supplied as an inseparable part, then the two items are naturally bundled, then we agree it is a composite supply. But here the storage batteries, the batteries not only for the purpose of UPS, it has multiple uses also. So having multiple uses is supplied with the, even if the battery is supplied with the UPS, it cannot be said they are naturally bundled, even if the same is supplied under a single contract at a combined single price. So the supply of external storage battery with UPS, it should be considered as a mixed supply and not as a composite supply. So generally, even when this type of questions asked, we mention like UPS and the storage battery, we conclude it is a composite supply, but behind this there is a valid, the case law is there. So we can quote that case law, this type of question asked in our exam, and the point by the appellant authority here is the battery supplied by them, it should be in the form of inseparable, but the storage battery, we are using it for the multiple purpose, hence it cannot be said as a naturally bundled. So the supply of external storage battery with UPS, it should be considered as a mixed supply, and this same has been asked in our recent June 24 exam. So you got it, this point. Yeah, actually here we need to discuss about the legal provisions. I will update for the the penalty clauses and this other legal provisions, it is related to time of supply. Then we have related persons and distinct persons. So we need to brief who are called the related persons and who are called distinct persons. So related person means who? The related person means a person who is under the influence of another person. So that person are called related person, who is under the influence of another person, like members of the same family or subsidiaries of a group company, etc. Under GST law, various categories of related persons. So in a general term, related person means members of the same family or subsidiaries of a group company. But under GST, the separate definition is there. It is explained in section 15. So persons who are included, persons including legal person are deemed as related persons. So who are they? Persons or officers or directors of one another's businesses, persons legally recognized partners, persons employer-employee, a third person controls, owns, holds directly or indirectly greater than or equal to 25% voting stock or shares of both of them. One of them controls directly or indirectly the other. Third person controls directly or indirectly both of them. Such persons together control directly, indirectly a third person are the members of the same family, thus one of them sole agent or sole distributor of the other. So these persons, the below list, all are called the deemed as related persons. So we need to mention all the points for the definition of the related person. So related person, there are two things. Related person, we can easily remember section 15, and distinct persons are defined in section 25. So in 15, we can, once we mention the meaning, definition, we can give our own example also. The example here, simple example, Priya holds 30% shares of ABC Limited and 35% shares of XYZ Limited. ABC and XYZ, they are called related. Q Limited has a deciding role in corporate policy, operations management and quality control of R Limited. It can be said Q Limited controls R Limited. So then we can call Q and R Limited are related. So now the definition we have seen, the related person means who are deemed to be the related person. So one controls the other, holds greater than or equal to 25% of the shares. Persons together control a third person, legally recognized partners. Same way, now we can see about the distinct persons. So who are called distinct persons? So distinct persons, meaning of distinct person is the establishments of a person with separate registrations, whether within the same state or union territory or in different states or union territories, considered as distinct persons. Suppose I have my own company here in Maharashtra and I have one more company in Delhi, then it is called a distinct persons. So where a person having one registered establishment in a state or union territory, another establishment in different state or union territory, not necessarily registered. So I am doing in Maharashtra a taxable business, taxable supply, and so I registered, I am registered under GST in Maharashtra, where in Delhi I have one more office where I am doing only exempted related only, so I have not registered. So now, even though not necessarily registered, but still we can call it as a distinct establishments of distinct persons. So person who has obtained or required to obtain more than one registration, whether in one state or union territory or more than one state or union territory, we can call it as a distinct persons. So distinct persons means, so it is entirely different. Related, you can see related is one person controls or the members of the same family we have seen. But in case of distinct person, it is the establishments of a person. So I have my own registration here in Maharashtra, Delhi, or in Tamil Nadu or Karnataka. So in all those states I have registered under GST, may not be registered. Why? In Maharashtra I have registered, not necessarily I have got registered in other states also, but still we can call it as a distinct persons. Mohan, a chartered accountant, a registered head office, has a registered head office in Delhi. He also obtained registration in the state of West Bengal in respect of his newly opened branch office. Mohan's registrations under GST under same PAN in West Bengal and Delhi. It can be still treated as a distinct persons. So another the establishment wherever, if it is even establishment outside India, establishment in a state or union territory, establishment outside the state or union territory we can call, or establishment in a state or any other establishment within that state or union territory, these all getting covered as a distinct persons. So we have another example. Rishabh. Distinct persons. So you will get anywhere registration, you will be having a GST registration of that particular state. Your PAN will be same, but your GST registration in Maharashtra, and you have some printing business in Delhi, still we are calling it as a distinct persons. So here that same establishment with separate registrations, establishment of a person with a separate registration. In the last one, if you see, where a person having one registered establishment in a state, another establishment, suppose for example the printing business is completely exempted supply, example, so you don't require to get it registered there, but still we can call it as a distinct persons. So not necessarily registered, these establishments are considered as establishment of distinct persons. So in exams, like a related person means we needed to completely mention, we have to be thorough of all these points, and example you can give, and for a distinct persons we need to give this definition and example as well. So one more example, Rishabh Enterprises, a registered supplier, owns a restaurant in Maharashtra. It has opened a liquor shop in Uttarakhand for trading of alcoholic liquor for human consumption. So he is doing the business of restaurant. He owns a restaurant in Maharashtra and he wanted to start, he opened a liquor shop in Raipur. Then since a supply of alcoholic liquor is a non-taxable supply, Rishabh is not required to obtain registration. So he is not required to obtain the take the registration. In this case, restaurant in Maharashtra and liquor shop in Uttarakhand, it shall be treated as establishments of distinct persons. Supply by Maharashtra restaurant to Uttarakhand shop in course of furtherance of business, even without consideration, will qualify as a supply. So establishment of distinct person means his restaurant in Maharashtra registered and that one is unregistered, but we call it as a distinct persons. So we have to see still section 13 in a place of supply. So we will see that place of supply of section 13 and then we will come back to this. So you have section 13 also in Inter, but it's long gap you have, right? May not be remembered also. Section 13 also more or less like section 12 only, we can quickly see that. So we know it, this is a general provision only for the default one. So we will go to the, move on to section 33. In respect of, this is related to place of supply of supply service on goods. Place of supply services on goods. In respect of goods that are made physically available by the receiver to the service provider in order to provide service, then in that case location where the services are actually performed. Then if it is by way of electronic means, the actual location of goods. So there example is there. Sony Music Company London undertaking a tour in 2 Indian cities, namely Mumbai, Chennai, obtains the services of an Indian cargo handling firm to move its sound and musical equipments between the 2 cities. So the place of supply of service where the services are actually performed. This service is in the taxable territory Chennai and withstanding the location of the service receiver. So we need to mention where our place of supply should be location where the services are actually performed. That is, the taxable territory is what? Chennai. So hence it is a GST is applicable. So the non-taxable territory, they have mentioned it as Jammu and Kashmir, and the taxable territory also here. So important, if the following 2 conditions are satisfied, if the following 2 conditions are satisfied. So we need to mention if the section 13 subsection 3 clause A is not applicable, Then if the following two conditions are satisfied, then section 13(2), that default provision only we need to go with. If the goods are to be temporarily imported into India for repairs or for any other treatment or process and are exported after repair or treatment or process. So in that case, section 13(2), without being put to use being put to any other use in India, then that which is required for such repairs or treatment or processes. So we brought for the particular purpose only and finished our purposes and sending back to the materials from where we have imported. In that case, we should go with section 13 subsection 2. ABC fabricators. So we are seeing the same only. It is a residual class. Like if you don't other subsections, section 3 to section that is subsection 3 to subsection 13. If it is not falling within those category, then we should go with the default section 13 subsection 2. The default provision says it is a location of the service receiver is available in the ordinary course of business. So if the receiver is there, yes, then we go with the location of the service recipient. If the service provider is located in the taxable territory, then GST is applicable. So the place of supply of service, the default section is section 13(2). So if we couldn't able to identify under which section we need to give the place of supply, then we follow this section 13 subsection 2. The location of the service provider is the place of supply of service. If the service provider located in the taxable territory, then yes, GST will be levied. If he is in the non-taxable territory, then it will not be levied. So even where we have seen previously in section 12 also, we have seen the same. So if from subsection 3 to 14, if we couldn't able to bifurcate or we couldn't able to identify the place of supply, then we follow the default provision. So the default provision says location of the service receiver. So in the location of the service receiver, if he is a registered person, if he is unregistered person, then we classified if his address exists, if the address is not exist. I will show it here, you may remember now. The default provision. So see here that 3 to 14. So 12 is what? Where the location of supplier of services and location of location of recipient of services is in India. So if it is within 3 to 14 not applicable, the below sections subsections is not applicable, we go with the default provision. So default provision means registered person, unregistered person. Unregistered, we are bifurcating whether I maintain his address in my books, then I can give the location of the unregistered person. If I don't have their address, then I go with supplier of services. So the same, that on road example, the repeat in the latest June 24 exam, the person is traveling from Delhi, then Delhi to Chandigarh. So the car got broke down and they called some person in the middle. So their registered office is in Delhi. So we are considering, because the address is not maintained. So address is not there, then we go with location of supplier's address. So wherever we couldn't able to identify, we go with this conditions. Same way, section 13(2) as well. Here first we see the supplier, this receiver is available in the ordinary course of business or not. So here this example we will see, ABC Fabricators has its factory located in Gujarat. It has temporarily imported certain goods from its customer located in China and re-exported them to China after carrying out the necessary repairs without putting them to any use in Gujarat. So I have imported certain goods and re-exported again to China after I did some repair work. But I didn't use that particular material for any other purpose. Examine what would be the place of provision of service in the given case with reference to place of supply of services. So in the given case, for the next question we will come back. First point, in the given case, the goods have been temporarily imported by the ABC and it has been re-exported after repairs without being put to any use in Gujarat, which is taxable territory. Place of provision of repair services carried out by ABC Fabricators, it has to be determined under 13(2). And consequently, the place of supply of service will be the location of the service receiver. So here China, which is the non-taxable territory. The place of supply of service. So the place of supply here is which one? Location of the service receiver. So the next question here is, will your answer be different if the repaired goods re-exported after put to use in Gujarat for some time? So I brought that good and repaired it and I used this for other purpose also. If the repaired goods are re-exported, if the repaired goods are re-exported after being put to use, the place of provision of service will be determined, section 13(3)(a). So in that case, if the use to which goods are put is not required for such repair, so in that case the place of supply of service is location where the service is actually performed. In that case it is the place of supply is Gujarat. However, if the use is of such nature which is necessary for carrying out the repairs, the place of supply will again be determined under section 13 subsection 2. So there are mainly two things in this particular problem we need to understand. One is, first one we are finding the place of provision of service. So number two, we put to use the material which we imported. So for the first case, subsection 2, the place of supply is location of the service receiver, because we repaired the material and sent the same material back to China. For this, in the second case, we repaired it and we put to use it. After being put to use for some time, then we are sending the material back to China. In that case, service is actually performed, the location where the service is actually performed. So in that case, Gujarat is the place of supply. Section, that is section 3A we have seen. Now subsection 3, clause B. So clause B says what? Services supplied to an individual represented either as service receiver or a person acting on behalf of receiver, which require physical presence of the recipient or the person acting on his behalf with the supplier for the supply of services. In that case, it is location where the services are actually performed. So here, famous actress Aish went to London and availed cosmetic or plastic surgery services for her nose. So he has travelled to out of India and he has done some plastic surgery. Find the place of service. So where the services are actually performed, that is place of supply. So where the services here actually performed, it's London, so it is not liable to pay. GST is not applicable here. So this is section 13(3)(b). I am not able to see. So first one, 13A is supply services on goods, 13B is individual, like B2B, B2C. So it is for the business purpose. The clause B is for individual. So now we are into 13(4). 13(4) is services supplied directly in relation to an immovable property. So immovable property means where the immovable property is located or intended to be located. So the nature of service: lease, right to use, or occupation, enjoyment, construction service, architects, interior decorators, renting of immovable property, real estate agents. So all these services are there. For these, the services supplied directly in relation to an immovable property. In that case, immovable property where it is located or intended to be located. Mrs. Neelam Goyal, an interior designer based in Delhi, and provides her service to an Indian hotel chain for its newly acquired property in London. Find the place of supply of service and the person liable to pay GST. So the location of service recipient is the place of supply of service, and the place of supply is Mumbai, which is the taxable territory, attracts IGST in the hands of Neelam Goyal. So why? Because it's an interior designer in Delhi and provides her service to an Indian hotel chain which has business establishment in Mumbai. Find the place of supply of service. The both are in India only. So we are going with the section 12 subsection 3 clause A. location of the service recipient is the place of supply of service, and the place of supply is Mumbai, and it attracts IGST in the hands of the service provider, who is Neelam Goyal. And other services also we have, like in section 12, where we have seen the nature of service, cultural, artistic, sporting, scientific. Here also the supply of services where the event is actually held. So Sharma, a Jalandhar based comedian, hosted a comedy show at Singapore with the help of event organizer located in Delhi. So where that event is actually held, so it's in Singapore, and the it's some advanced this question. Comedian hosted a comedy show at Singapore on birthday occasion of Mumbai based Mr. Khan's son, and he is an unregistered person. Find the GST liability. So we are going with section 12, subsection 7. What is section 12 and subsection 7? Organization of events, and it is location of the person receiving services, and if he is an unregistered person, where the event is held, and the event if it is outside India, then the location of the recipient. So here where the event is actually held, the place of supply is Mumbai. So IGST is applicable in this case. So there are small examples of the same only. We have subsection 6 as well. So what is subsection 6? Any service stated in 3, 4 or 5 is provided at more than one location, including a location of taxable territory. Its place of supply should be located in the taxable territory. So suppose the technical inspection and the certification services are provided by X Limited Chennai to the INC of USA. So they have the location, like in Chennai they have done 20, Cochin, Colombo they have did it. That's so some services, technical services. So the place of supply of services, it is the taxable territory if it is Chennai and Cochin, and the X Limited liable to pay IGST for the part of Chennai, and if he is doing is the part even IGST for Cochin also, and IGST for the services rendered in Colombo. It means the tax will be payable on the entire value. I don't see, but I can hear the sound, but I don't see anyone in this. You get the sound, no? That in the lobby, waiting in lobby, but I don't see it. Sure. See, here in this particular case, if they are providing the services more than one location, and the place of supply will be location in the taxable territory. If the given example is they are providing the technical inspection and the certification for a newly developed product of Mrs. A INC, In Cochin, Chennai, Colombo, there are three different, they were providing the services in different percentage. But still, the for newly developed product is Mrs. A Inc. of USA. So, even though Chennai to Chennai, the IGST is applicable because you can see the recipient is USA based. So, here even if it is Chennai to Chennai, for all these cases IGST is applicable. So, section 37, the services performed in more than one state. In that case, the place of supply of services shall be taken as deemed in each of the state or union territory in proportion to the services, value of services. So, like earlier also, yesterday we have seen the contract is for 48 lakhs and the number of days the event has happened. We have proportionate basis we have identified, on that only the GST is applicable. Same case here as well. Mr. Harsha, an event organizer located in Malaysia, undertakes to organize comedy shows of Mr. Brahmi of Hyderabad and Mr. Vadivelu of Chennai. The comedy shows are hosted in Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu and Pondicherry, and the contract is for 60 crores. So here the number of days the recipient of service is, there are 20, 15, 14 and 1 day. So on that basis only we needed to give the proportionate for the each state on the basis of the proportionate contract value GST percentage we need to apply. So then if it is for the specified services, we have seen earlier the services performed in more than one location and the services performed in more than one state, how to proportionate basis. Now we are into place of supply of services, that is specified services. Specified services means services provided by a banking or financial company, intermediary services, services consisting of hiring of means of transport other than aircraft, vessels except yachts up to a period of 1 month. Services provided by a banking or a financial company or a NBFC to account holders. So, for this specified services, what is the place of supply of service? It is location of the service provider. It is location of the service provider. So, there is one simple example. Mr. S has a permanent residence at Chennai. He has a savings bank account with Chennai Mount Road branch of State Bank of India. He is a permanent resident at Chennai and his savings bank account is SBI. The bank is also in Chennai. And on 2015, he opened a locker and he went to Singapore for official work, and he started residing there since then. And Mr. S contends that since he is a non-resident during the year 17-18 in terms of income tax, GST cannot be levied on the locker fee charged by the State Bank of India. So, examine the correctness of this statement, contention. So, here the place of supply is where? Here the place of supply is Chennai, and the GST applicable is CGST, SGST is applicable, and it is related to the intermediary services. So, intermediary services, it includes travel agent, tour operator, the commission agent or the recovery agent. So, the remittances even from abroad, the GST will be levied. So intermediary means who? The broker, agent or any other person by whatever name called, who arranges the facility of supply of goods or services or both between two or more persons, but does not include a person who supplies goods or services or both securities on his own account. So we are now seeing about the who are all called the intermediaries, freight forwarding services. So there some specified services we are talking about here. Here specified services. So specified services we have seen just now, the banking or financial company. Now the next one is about the intermediary services. So we have seen what is the meaning, who are called the intermediaries. So the service provider is a freight forwarder. If there is a freight forwarder, acts as an agent of airline or ocean liner, and the freight forwarder acts as a principal. In that case, the nature of service, the transportation of goods is outside India. Then in that case, place of supply of services, intermediary service, which is subsection 8 clause B, that is location of the service provider. So next one is transportation of goods outside India. The freight forwarder act as an principal. Previously we have seen freight forwarder acts as an agent. Now freight forwarder as an principal, and the transportation is outside India. So first case, location of the service provider. Second, next case, destination of the place of goods is the place of supply of service. Yes, you can see this. A vessel Bhishma sailing from USA to Australia via India carries various types of capital goods A, B, C and D. A and B are destined to Mumbai port on account of submission of bill of transshipment product. A transshipped to Chennai port as ultimate destination in India, and product B transshipped to Sri Lanka. So if you see, there are four types of capital goods A, B, C and D, and A and B destined to the Mumbai port, and on account of submission of bill of transshipment product, A transshipped to Chennai port as ultimate destination in India, and B has been transshipped to Sri Lanka. So in that case, what is the place of supply of service and the person liable to pay GST? So in the first case, the place of supply of services, destination of goods, and the person liable to pay GST is the importer. So who? The place of supply is Chennai. So for the product A, which is the ultimate destination is in India, the person liable to pay GST, importer on the ocean freight. So in this particular case, like the freight forwarding, we need to see whether it is an agent or the principal. Accordingly, we need to mention the place of supply of services. Then passenger transportation services. Passenger transportation services, where the passenger embarks on the conveyance for a continuous journey. So New Delhi to London and then London to New York. The passenger embarks from New Delhi, then the place of supply is New Delhi, and this will be taxable. Services provided on board conveyances. So any service provided on board a conveyance will be covered here. That first scheduled point of departure of that conveyance for the journey. That is, the first scheduled point of departure will be the place of supply. So we have OIDAR. We'll see with in brief. The other, it is a big one, the OIDAR. We'll finish the other examples and then we will come back to this OIDAR, that is online data access and retrieval. So we have separate case studies chapter in our material. So all the case studies problems are very important. We will see from the case studies problem the few examples from the case studies, but all are very important, and you can see in the repeated question also the case studies problems. So here this one we will try to solve now. Sami Private Limited, owned by Rang Tarang, a famous classical singer, wishes to organize Rang Tarang music concert in Gurugram, which is in Haryana. Sami Private Limited is registered in Punjab, enters into a contract with an event management company for which is registered, that is Puja Private Limited, registered in Delhi, for organizing the said music concert at an agreed consideration 10 lakhs. Puja Private Limited books the lawns of Hotel Dum Dum Gurugram, which is registered in Haryana, for holding the music concert for a lump sum consideration of 4 lakhs. Sami Private Limited fixes the entry fee to the music concert rupees 5,000. 400 tickets are sold. You are required to determine the CGST, SGST or IGST. Will your answer be different if the price per ticket is fixed at 450? Rate of CGST and SGST is 9% and IGST 18%. So we'll see here for the all the three different conditions. The services provided by three supplies or three different services are there. One is Sami Private Limited to audiences admission to the music concert. Second one is Sami Private Limited by way of organizing the music concert, that is Puja, service provided by Puja Private Limited to Sami Private Limited. Then third one, services provided by Hotel Dum Dum by way of accommodation in the hotel lawns for organizing the music concert. So where we are seeing the place of supply, the event is held, we need to refer section 12 subsection 6. Where the event is actually held or where the park or the other place is located. So in the first case, section 12 subsection 6, the place of supply is where the event is held, because the services provided by the Sami Private Limited, he is providing it to the audiences and by way of admission to the music concert. So here where the event is actually held, so where the event is actually held, it is in Haryana. So the location of the supplier is Punjab and hence you can see that different Haryana to Punjab, it is IGST is applicable, and 5,000 per ticket and the 400 tickets are sold, so 5,000 into 400 and that IGST 18%. Second case, the services provided by Puja Limited to Swami by way of organizing the music concert. First one is admission of the event and the second one is organization of events. So there is a two different thing. So in case of admission of events, where the event is actually held, and in case of organization of events, if he is a registered person receiving services, and if he is an unregistered person or the event outside India. So there is a if we are seeing in any question like events, so if any event is there, please check whether organized or whether admissions are there. So the second thing is Puja Private Limited, what they are doing, they are booking the lawns, and it is for the lump sum consideration and for organizing the music concert. So by way of organizing means you need to see the place of supply. He is a location of the recipient who is a registered person. So the location of the recipient is who? The Ludhiana, Punjab. So the Swami Private Limited. So the location of supplier is Delhi and the IGST is applicable. For the third thing, the services provided by whom here? The services is provided by Hotel Dem and by way of what? Accommodation in the hotel lawns, which we call it as place of supply is location of the immovable property. Section 12 subsection it is C. So the location of the immovable property, the location means here the hotel which is the lawns is there, that is Gurugram, which is they books the Puja Private Limited books the lawns of Hotel Dum Dum, which is Gurugram, registered in Haryana. So the location of the immovable property is Haryana and the location of the supplier is also Haryana. So hence in this particular case CGST, SGST is applicable. And if the price for the entry ticket is fixed at 450, the admission is exempted, but still we have not come to the exempted supply under GST. So once we look into that exempted supply, we will understand for if the price of the ticket is less than 500, whether the GST is applicable or not. So in this particular example, we have seen three different scenarios. What are the three different scenarios? The first one is Swami Private Limited. He owned a famous classical singer and wishes to organize a music concert. So the services provided by Swami Private Limited to the public, the audiences. So by it is an admission to the music concert. Second case, it is service provided by Puja Private Limited to Swami Private Limited. It is by way of organization. And third one is where the location of the immovable property, meaning accommodation in the hotel lawns. The simple example we will see. Determine the place of supply of service in each of the following independent cases. Whether GST is payable. Mr. A travelled Bagodara, Dibrugarh, then Singapore, then Dibrugarh, then Bagdogra. Flight where a single ticket with no stopover issued by Pakistan Airlines located in Dubai. So for the first case, it is section 13 subsection 10. What is subsection 10 in the section? That is passenger transportation services, where the passenger embarks on the mode or conveyance. So we should see the place of supply of services is Bagodara of West Bengal, and that particular place, it is specifically exempted from GST. Then the second case, the place of second one is Mr. B, a well-known comedian from Delhi, organizes a stage show in Japan. So he organized a stage show in Japan. For organizing, he takes the services from Mumbai-based event organizer. It is about what? Organization of an event. So any event organization, we should remember subsection 7 of section 12. If it is admission, then subsection 6 of subsection 6 of section 12. Here it is organizing the event. So the location of the recipient of service, so it is Delhi. IGST is applicable in this particular case. So we will see very simple one today. With reference to GST provisions, briefly explain the time of supply under reverse charge with respect to payment date and place of supply of service, hiring, all means of transport except vessel and aircraft up to a period of 1 month, where the location of supplier and location of recipient is outside India. Location of supplier or location of recipient is from outside India, meaning we should immediately remember section 13. So the first one is about reverse charge. So under reverse charge, what we have seen, the date on which payment received by the supplier or date of payment means the date on which payment is entered in the books of accounts or the payment debited in his bank account. So on phone, if customer confirms that they have released the payment, means when before the amount is debited in our account, we take the entry in the books. So the date on which payment is entered in his books of accounts or date payment is debited in his bank account, whichever is earlier, that we call it as the time. What is exactly been asked? With respect to payment date it is. Second case, specified services. So it is subsection 8 clause C. So what does it mean? The place of supply of service is location of the service provider. Location of the service provider. So the place of supply of service, hiring all means of transport up to a period of 1 month. Location of supplier or location of recipient is outside India. So in that case, location of the service provider. You see here the interior decoration it's related to. So an interior decorator, MG, an interior decorator provides professional services to Mr. HJ in relation to two of his immovable properties. Determine the place of supply in the transactions. So location of Mr. MG is Delhi and Mr. HJ is Mumbai, and the property is in both the, if you see the properties, it is in New York, both are outside India, it's there, the properties, but the location is within Delhi and Mumbai and Delhi and New York. So this is a good example where you can see which section. If it is in India, you apply section 12. If it is outside India, then you go with section 13. So the location of Mr. Mahendra Goyal, who is the Delhi, and the Harish HJ is Mumbai and New York. And the properties are situated outside India. So if the property is situated outside India, for the first case, if it is outside India, then we go with the location of the recipient of service. For the second case, where we use, if it is outside India, then the location of the immovable property, that will be the place of supply of service. So there will be definitely a question for event management related in the place of supply. So here, but this is not related to event. You can see this for the what is the place of supply, the general law. RR, a registered supplier under GST in Mumbai, is directed by N Enterprises, Kolkata, deliver goods valued at 12 lakhs to Fabricana of Aurangabad in Maharashtra. RR makes out an invoice 9% tax rate under CGST SGST and delivers locally in Maharashtra. Comment on the above levy of tax. So he is a registered supplier under GST, directed by N Enterprises, Kolkata, to deliver it to deliver the Fabricana of Aurangabad in Maharashtra, which is of the same state only. But here in the place of supply, where the material is actually delivered, Kolkata. So on the N Enterprises, the place of N Enterprises is Kolkata, who is the principal. So on that he directed to deliver the goods to Maharashtra. So it is to Fabricana of Aurangabad in Maharashtra, and RR makes out an invoice at 9% tax rate. So which section do we need to apply? So earlier, if you seen that 12 section 12, the section 12 it is section 10, the for the general rules related to. So if it is bill to model, we should go with section 10 subsection 1 of clause B, goods delivered on bill to ship to model. So hence in this particular case, the place of supply is Kolkata and the location of the supplier is in Mumbai. So though the goods are delivered to Mumbai, the ship to only Mumbai, but the place where the bill to is happened to Kolkata. So the Kolkata to Mumbai, it is IGST is applicable, hence to on that amount 18% IGST is 2,16,000. So if it is bill to ship to model, where the bill to is, that place we needed to consider as a place of supply. So if you see, there are multiple questions related to the event management only. So more focus on the event management also. Under event management, we have two things, like whether it is admission to the event or it is related to organization. So the first here on the illustration 65, GGE, an event management company at Kolkata, they organizes two award functions for Kalyan Jewellers of Chennai at New Delhi and Singapore. So there are two locations are there. So even the two locations, when the service by way of organization of an event to a registered person, so it is to the Kalyan Jewellers of Chennai, he is a registered person. Hence, the place of supply is the location of the recipient. Even though the award function is at New Delhi and Singapore and organized for the Kalyan Jewellers, the place of supply is the location of the recipient. So, where he is located? He located in Chennai. So, the place of supply is Chennai. And in the second case, the perfect planners is hired by DK, unregistered person based in Kochi, to plan and organize his son's wedding at Mumbai. In that case, it is hired, but that person is a unregistered person. Hence, the place of supply is Mumbai. In the last case, will your answer be different if the wedding takes place at Malaysia? So in that case, the place of supply will be Kochi. Why? The organization means that the event actually happened as the son's wedding is at Mumbai. But in the second case, if it takes place outside India, then it is the location of the service recipient, that is he located in Kochi. So hence the place of supply will be Kochi. So any event management, please remember two things. One will be the location of the recipient of service if it is registered case. If it is unregistered, then you need to see whether in India or outside India. If it is in India, then where the event is held. If it is outside India, the location of the recipient of service. So we need to consider here. I'll stop till here. So these things you remember. Okay. Okay. Because we have multiple sections, but it is very simple only. So you can try this in final this place of supply, because small problems with multiple 2 lines problems, 4 numbers, so it's for 7 marks, so we don't want to miss it. So you can try this time this place of supply, and ODIAR is also very important. Definitely from place of supply, either this or related to OIDAR, there will be questions. Time of supply, you have studied. So valuation of GST, valuation ITC, yes. So I'll stop here and we will see, and we'll try to start customs also, because 2 hours to complete a GST will be 30%. Customs also. But here I think you will be liking for final, because customs we have export or ECGC and all are there, which is very important. I'll just stop this YouTube recordings.